Wow, it's very nice.
What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Borat has a sequel. We didn't know this was coming a few months ago, so I'm excited to talk about it. Thank you to Amazon for sending me a screener for this movie. And oh boy, this is going to be controversial. Let's get into it. So the follow-up film to the 2006 comedy centering on the real-life adventures of television journalist Borat. And I say this is going to be controversial, not necessarily because of this review, but there's one moment in the third act that will not only be talked about in the context of this review, it will be talked about in the news. It will be talked about for quite a long time, involving someone, and Amazon asked me not to reveal too much about this movie, but all I will say is, oh my goodness. And I know the entire point of that moment is just to make you sit back and feel really uncomfortable and kind of cringe and squirm around in your chair just a little bit, but oh yeah, it did that. Not necessarily because of Sacha Baron Cohen, but oh my goodness, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was insane. So let's get into the movie. 14 years ago. And ever since then, after not knowing what to expect from that first movie, Borat has really turned into an iconic comedic character. So many people love that first film. And one of the beautiful things about that movie is it played on everything. The United States of America, foreign policy, all of these different characters that it brings into the film, and the fact that Borat's just running around the streets, and at that point, no one really knew who Borat was. I mean, I'm sure if you're a hardcore fan, you had seen moments with Sacha Baron Cohen, but he could be himself in public and essentially be unrecognizable as this character, and it was awesome. So funny. Now, my worry for this movie going in is that it was going to be maybe a bit too political at times, and I didn't want it to be that specifically. And the movie is that, right? Because I don't like when films divide, whether it's two different sides of the political spectrum, whether it's two different types of people. I don't like when a film does that. I like when it's fair, down the middle. And Borat is not that. It makes itself very clear at the beginning, okay, this is what we're going to be. We're going to be relevant to now, which I believe will affect the movie. Maybe down the line in a few years, we're going to look back. It's not going to hold up as well because it has to do with everything involving this election, with everything involving our political leaders. And that, in my opinion, is something that could hurt the film eventually and will hurt it now with those that the movie is choosing to offend. Now, does it offend only a specific group of people? No. No, there are moments that's going to offend everybody, every single person with every single belief. But one of the beautiful things about satire is if you're more inclusive in who you are offending, and as long as you don't go too far. And again, the movie does go as far as you possibly can, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't laughing. Now, were there moments in this film that offended me? Oh, they should have, right? But again, I was laughing. And that's what it all comes down to, is Borat's subsequent movie film with the really long subtitle that it continued to change. Is it funny? Yeah, it's funny. And even though how relevant it is to right now is something that probably will come back to bite it later on, just judging it as I'm watching it in 2020, I mean, there are just so many moments that people are going to remember here that will have you cringing, grabbing onto your seat like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they're doing that in public. And I say there because we not only have Borat, we have Borat's daughter, who is played by Maria Bakalova, who is just hilarious. She fits right in perfectly. Now, one thing I will say about the film is the narrative as a whole. There is a goal and a mission at the beginning of the movie, and then we get to that point a lot quicker than I thought we would get to that point, and then we're just trying to figure out where we're going to go next. And they figure that out as characters, but I felt like the end goal of the film wasn't as established and wasn't as well constructed as the first Borat. And I normally hate playing the comparison game like this, but if you're asking me, Austin, which one do you choose? The first Borat or the second Borat? I'm still going to choose the first because there were more hilarious moments. I think the movie as a whole made me laugh more. Normally with the comedy, you want it to at least be 50-50, if not 60-40. And I definitely think this particular film has more funny moments than not, but the first Borat, I mean, it's 70-30, 80-20. I'm laughing almost the entire movie. The sequel, you're laughing, And then there are moments that maybe aren't as funny. There are moments where they're trying to figure out what they're going to do next with the plot. And there are moments where you start to see these pieces come together. So we've been seeing over the last few months Sacha Baron Cohen get involved in certain things, whether it's an anti-mask rally. We all saw the videos. We thought he was just messing around. Nope. Turns out that that has to do with this movie. And pretty much everything that we have seen filming this movie in secret, which is what they managed to do somehow in 2020. They managed to get away with that. No, it all comes together, and it also involves some people that are in politics right now in the United States. Now, if you're outside of the U.S., you may not care as much. If you're within the U.S., again, this movie is going to be offensive. It all comes down to, are you on board with it? Are you willing to laugh? Are you willing to get offended? Or is it something that kind of pisses you off as a viewer? And honestly, in whatever way you take it, I completely understand. This is a film that will divide you. So whatever side of the fence you're on, I went into this movie with an open mind. You have to with a film like this. Even though some moments have me wincing and cringing, as it will every human being who watches this. I still found myself laughing. I still found the Borat character to just be so hilarious at points. And he's not always Borat. Again, he's recognized now. People know who Borat is, so he has to continue to dress up as other individuals and try to fit in within groups of people. And his interactions with just everyday ongoing individuals. It's that jackass feeling you get of, okay, they're going to do it. They're going to do it in public. They're going to say whatever they want to say, and he does that. And some of these quote-unquote characters, but actual people, they provide the humor as well. They're back and forth, whether it's intentional or not. I mean, that just adds to the comedy. It's just a big ongoing circle of things that will offend people. But what is a comedy supposed to do? And I always say this, rule number one, it's supposed to make you laugh. And Borat's subsequent movie film does that. Oh my goodness, it absolutely does it. So I cannot wait to see how this is received, one side or the other. But let me know, did this movie make you laugh? Because I do believe that's the key here. If it is funny, then it succeeds as a comedy. Again, I don't think the story was all the way there, but I really liked Borat in this movie. I thought his daughter character was hilarious. One moment in particular where I think even for me, they kind of pushed it. I didn't really want to look at the screen. But again, they're going for it. They swing for the fences. Sometimes it's a swing and a miss, but when they hit, they really hit hard. Appreciate you guys for watching this. As for my score, it's still a 70%. It's a 7 out of 10. I think this is a comedy sequel that is intended to hit hard. It absolutely does that. Again, that moment that I was talking about. Wow. Oh my goodness. Sacha Baron Cohen is unafraid to do literally anything. He's gonna get himself in big trouble one of these days. Appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Amazon Prime, Borat's subsequent movie film is coming, I believe, this Friday. I'll see you guys later on today with a review for The Witches.